Welcome to Adding Annotations to Data with the Semantic Engine. Here I'm going to provide a quick example of how to classify data, work with quality statements, and use lists when documenting data, all in the Semantic Engine. What we have here is we have a data set that I've collected, and I'm trying to ask myself, is this a number or is it text? Because you need to provide what kind of data type you're working with is in the Semantic Engine. So for the first column, we can see it's very clear. I've got all numeric values. This is definitely a number type variable. But in the second column, it's not so clear. I want it to be numeric because I'm going to be doing curve fitting with these two variables, but I definitely have some text mixed in. So is this text or numeric? And the answer is it's text because we have a mixture. I couldn't plug in null into a calculator and do calculations on it. I would be getting an error if I tried to insert that value into a function. But that's easy to work with. We can, with a little bit of sophistication, we can add some information and save all this valuable knowledge that we want and even do more with it and preserve things for for analysis. So I've copied over the data here. I have numeric and text. And what I've started to do at the side here is I'm adding codes. So I have said that if I'm going to unalter the data, I'm going to give it a code of number of 1. But for example, this null value, I'm going to give it a code of 100, and below detection limit, I'm going to give it a code of 200, etc. I'm trying to stratify these codes so that in the future I could maybe filter things numerically and say, show me all the data where the code is less than 10. It's a bit of sophistication, but of course you can just go in order numerically and you'll definitely get it to work. I'm going to go back and I'm going to rename this back to raw data. And then what I'm going to have is I'm going to have samples that are going to have data that's ready for analysis. And then here, as I said, I'm going to add that quality annotations. Quality, yeah. So I'm going to copy my data over, and I want to turn this into something that's numeric. So the first thing is I've said that all my data right now has been copied in as an unaltered state. So I'm going to give everything an unaltered data number. This is so that I'm always sure that I haven't done something funny with the data and not actually noted it. So the first thing I'm going to say is I'm going to deal with this null value. It's a null value. I'm going to remove it from the analysis, and I'm going to annotate it here with a quality code 100. It's a null value. Now I know I have a null value, but I can still do my analysis. Another example here is this value. I know that it's below the detection limit of the instrument, but I still want to be able to use it in analysis. So I might annotate that as 200 and give it like a minimal value so that I can still use it in my analysis, for example. Your data set is going to have specifics to your own data set. Another example is perhaps this value, I knew there was a jump in the instrument and I went back and I did a manual fit in order to calculate that initial velocity, and maybe it's actually 1.05. So I'm going to annotate this that I have manually corrected the data. So now we can see that my analysis column is definitely a numeric value, and my quality column is also numeric. I'm dealing all with numeric codes. How this would look in the Semantic Engine, if I'm going to go to my Semantic Engine parser, here I have my data again, the different attributes, and I can now say the type. So the first one was definitely numeric, but the raw data was a mix of numbers and text. So it's if you put in that text into a calculator, it would screw things up. So it's going to be data type text. On again, my analysis and my quality comments are both numeric. And if we look again at my quality comments, there's only a certain number of codes that I'm going to use. I'm restricting my quality options, my quality codes, to a list of choices. So I'll show you how that works right now. What I would do first, behind the scenes, what I've done is I've taken this little table here and I have put that into its own file. It's its own CSV file. So within the Semantic Engine then, I go to Next, and what I've been able to do is upload. So you can click on here and I'm going to upload that quality comment, and so I'm taking it from here's that little CSV file. So I'm going to drag and drop that into here. This is what that little table looks like. The code, I said the code, and then the English, it was the second column. I had called it English description. And now we have our quality codes which are now part of our data schema and help us understand the data. So, for example, in the quality, the attribute v_quality, I can give it a label that's a bit more human readable. I can provide a description after, and here is the list, which you can of course extend upon when you need to, as you have other quality comments that you want to use. You can even save that quality table and add to it and reuse it in all of your other data sets. Thank you for your attention, and visit thesemanticengine.org to try this out yourself.